Hi everyone, my name is Katarina. Welcome to my channel, Curiosity Killed a Cat. I decided it would be fun to go through my reading stats for 2025 and some of my reading goals for 2026. All of my stats come from my Goodreads account because that's the only way that I track my reading. I've seen a lot of better apps and Goodreads isn't the best one by any account. Just am kind of like a one app kind of girl and whatever I learn using and begin using, I kind of tend to stick to it. I've been using the exact same app to track all of my TV shows since I was in high school. Okay, so over a decade. I don't use anything else. I've been using Goodreads since 2018, which is going on a decade actually, and I don't see myself moving to any other app. Another reason is because this is where all my friends are. All of my real life friends are using Goodreads and have Goodreads accounts, and that's who I want to be connected to. So that's all I really need. It'll be fun to have some more stats, I know, but that's what we're going with. I will be putting some graphics on screen, although the Goodreads ones might be a bit off track by a few books because, as any of you who have used Goodreads will know, they sent the year in wrap by email a week or so earlier, and I've read a few more books since I got my stats. I will adjust for them in the video, but not on the graphics. In 2025, my goal was to read 100 books, and this was actually the first time that I put my goal at 50 right away. The way I usually tend to do this is I put it at 15 and then up it every time I'm close to reaching the goal until I get to 100 books. In 2025, I decided to start off with 50 because I knew I was gonna read that many books, and I did the same this year as well. My goal was 100 for 2025. I ended up reading 128 books, which totals up to 42,187 pages with an average rating of 3.9 stars and an average page length of 329. My shortest book read was Home, Habitat, Range, Niche, Territory by Martha Wells, which is a very, very short story in the Murderbot series. And that was just 19 pages. And I'm giving it 5 stars though because it hit. The longest book I read was the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey because I borrowed it from my friend who has the full series in a bind up, so it comes up to 685 pages. I ended up giving it 4 stars. The most shelved, according to Goodreads, was The Hunger Games, which I reread this year in preparation for Sunrise on the Reaping. I actually read all 4 books and then read Sunrise on the Reaping, and I unsurprisingly gave it 5 stars. It's shelved almost 13 million times, which is insane. The least shelved book I read was actually a Doctor Who novelization. It was The Wheel in Space by Terrance Dicks. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was shelved only 811 times, which makes sense because it's a Doctor Who novelization. I'm really big a Doctor Who fan, so hopefully you'll be seeing more of these in my reading stats at the end of next year because I would love to read a few more of them. I did get this one as part of the Doctor Who magazine, so I don't know how I'll get my hands on some of the other ones, but if I do, I would love to read them. And this was a second Doctor adventure, which was also really interesting. The highest rated book that I read in 2025 was actually a volume of One Piece. Now, I read One Piece as a 3-in-1 omnibus edition. So the highest rated one was actually volume 15, which I believe is the end of the Water 7 saga. So that makes sense. It's honestly, I'm not that far away from Water 7, to be honest. Like, I'm still only like halfway through the series, but it peaked at Water 7. Okay, like that was such a good story arc. Like, it's insane. It was so good, especially because like right before it's Skypiea, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Skypiea. I really enjoyed the flashbacks in Skypiea, but I felt like the arc itself kind of dragged a bit. I was still invested in it, but not as much. Like, I really felt it dragged on a bit. But when Water 7 hit, it was so good. So volume 15 of the 3-in-1 omnibus edition of One Piece by Ichiro Oda is the highest rated book that I read in 2025, and it has an average rating of 4.76. And I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. It was so good. I can't wait to continue with One Piece and hopefully finish it this year. That's one of my goals. The new season is coming out in March and I'm really excited. My first review of the year was actually another novel in the Murderbot series, and it was Exit Strategy by Martha Wells, and I gave it 4 stars, whereas my last review and my last read of the year was The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, and I gave it 4 stars as well. It was really brilliant, and I actually wanted to reread it at one point because it was a bit difficult for me to get into it. I loved it absolutely, but would love to reread it, and then definitely this would be like a 5 star. I think I actually give it like 4.5 but I always round it up or down on Goodreads, and this was rounded down. Speaking of star ratings, I actually have a breakdown per star rating. In 2025, I had no 1-star books, which is actually good for me because it tells me that I know when something's not working for me and I DNF it right away. Because I really don't like giving books 1 stars. I don't like finishing them because then I feel like it was a bit of a waste of time. And it takes a lot for me to 1-star books. Hopefully in 2026, I also don't have any 1 stars. Had 11 2-star books, which I will kind of touch upon when I do my video of my worst books in 2025, which is upcoming. And I had 36 3-star books, 33 4-star books, and 48 5-star books. This was a great reading year. I read some great 4-star and 5-star books. However, a lot of these are One Piece volumes. To break it down by month, I tend to read between like 8 to 12 books, I think is my sweet spot, and that's where I want to be per month. However, last year was a bit complicated. It was very slumpy. I wasn't reading as much, and then I would read a lot, and then I wouldn't anymore. So the numbers are all over the place. It goes from like 5 books to 15. So there's a range. In January, I read 11 books. In February, I read 5. In March, I read 11. Then in April, I read 14. In May, I read 10 books. In June, I read 14. In July, I read 10. In August, I read 8 books. In September, I read 14. In October, I only read 6 books. In November, I read 15. And in December, I read 10. So, really, like 10 to 12 is where I want my sweet spot to be. November ones were so big because I tried to do 30 and 30 with One Piece, but not like a full 3-in-1 volume as one, but like each of those volumes as one. And I didn't really complete it, to be honest. I didn't manage to finish it completely, but that's, I think, what upped the numbers because I don't think I was reading that much in November either, unfortunately. My big issue, and that's something that I'm going to touch upon now when I talk about my goals for 2026, is that I'm not really like consistent in my reading. Like, I don't read every single day, and I don't read for an hour every single day. And I want to do that. I actually want to implement that in 2026. I want to read for at least half an hour to an hour and a half every single day instead of not reading for a week and then reading for 2 days straight and then again not reading for a week or two. As for the other goals, my Goodreads goal is, once again, as I said, set at 50, but I will like to up it to 150 because that will be my ideal reading year in 2026. 150 books, with 100 being regular like books and novels, and 50 being manga because I have like a lot of manga that I want to read. As a goal, want to complete the buzzword reading challenge that Books and Lala does every year. This will be my first year actually really paying attention and reading towards that challenge. So I'm really excited. I already have some books picked out, and there's also 26 books I want to read in 2026, but that will be a separate video. Also, this year, decided to do something fun, and I made a bingo board for myself as to some of my reading goals. So one of them is to read 100 books, which I think will be achieved, and that's why I think it's in the center. And then I have some other goals that I put into the bingo board. So I have finished 5 series, which hopefully will motivate me to catch up or finish some of the series that I have in my roster. Then I have to read 3 classics. I really want to read more classics, and so hopefully this will be the year that I pick some up. I think I already have one from the library, so I'm hoping to read it soon. Then I have a square that says TBR picked by friends. So last year in 2025, I actually pulled like all my romance books that I had on my TBR, and I just kept asking my friends which one I should read next. And I kept asking different friends, and that's the order in which I would then read them. And it was really exciting, and I want to do that again. So that's the point of this particular square. I also have one buddy read, which I want to do with my friend Erna. I've done buddy reads with her a couple of times now, and that's really, really fun for us. Then I have to complete the Goodreads challenges. So I've been trying to stay on top of the Goodreads challenges, even though they're not the best. I will say right away, they're not the best. A lot of repeats, a lot of like stuff I've already read or I'm not interested in, not a lot of like fresh, exciting books, but I want to try and complete them all. My strategy is to see which books I already have on my TBR and prioritize those. And then if I don't have anything, then to maybe try and find something that seems the most interesting to me. Because those tend to be genres I'm not really into, and then maybe I can dip my toes into them. You know what I mean? And last year, that's how I found one of my favorite reads of the year. I also have a square that says read 2 books in one day. This is very manageable for me because when I'm on vacation, that tends to be how I roll. So this one probably won't get done by summer, Also, I'm not counting manga in this one. Prayer that I have is to read a book over 800 pages, and that's because I have Priory of the Orange Tree, and I've had it for a few years now, and I still haven't read it, so that's for that book. And I also have the prequel, sequel in that series, so hopefully I want to get to that one as well. So that's why that square is there. And last one is to read 5 Croatian books. I haven't really been on top of reading my local authors. Hopefully this will motivate me to read more from them. These are my goals for 2026 and my stats for 2025. What are some of your goals? What do you want to achieve in 2026? Leave them down below. Subscribe if you want to follow my reading journey. Like this video if you liked it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!